Okay, so yesterday, Monday, no, Tuesday. Um, yeah, it was kind of an unusual sit. Wait, I think this was yesterday. Yeah, I sort of started trying to do one thing, and then I kind of felt like I wasn't really going anywhere, and I kind of switching around between different types of meditation, and I think like getting a bit drowsy, and felt like I was kind of butting up against stuff, and then eventually I had this weird impulse to do like just sitting type of thing, like I guess uh, practices like that, maybe like shikantaza or zazen. Zen, I don't know that much about that. Where it's like you're just sitting there or something, which I've always just found really kind of frustrating and unpleasant. And like, wait, what is this instruction? I'm just sitting here. Does that mean I'm like not meant to think? No, because stopping myself from thinking is doing something more than just sitting. And I just kind of, it's like usually not a good time. I haven't done that for ages. But I had this weird impulse to do that. I was kind of doing it. I was kind of like vibing it, and I want to get better at describing things more specifically than surviving it. But but then after a while, I started to I just like maybe feel that boredom or frustration or whatever it was, tension, all this stuff, kind of like suffering, body sensations, and kind of was like had this impulse to just like I guess just sit with that. But I feel like that phrase means so many things that go from like things that have just been really bad for me to good and stuff. But I guess like to just see and experience it, which often like I feel like when I do that, it's like, well, this isn't really helping. I'm just really conscious of how bad I feel, and that kind of still was the case yesterday. Like it wasn't like it led to this great shift in my relationship to the suffering or release or something. But in a way it did because it was something about going like I'm just gonna. The feeling was almost like the feeling when you're like, okay, I'm just gonna confront this thing now, or like, um, maybe it's even reminding me of the vibe in like a movie when there's like the hero and the villain that I've never really met, but the villain's been kind of like doing all the stuff that affects the hero, and then it's the moment where like the hero just like confronts them. It's like, all right, maybe not a hero, maybe it's more just like a bar fight scene or something. The person's like, all right, come on, let's do this. You wanna take me on? You wanna beat me up? Let's take this outside. Do it. Um, Not necessarily from a sense that the person is like that you're gonna be able to beat them, but just like let's stop messing around. Let's just confront this head on or something. Maybe it was the vibe. Yeah, with just like that sort of tension, anxiety, fear, guilt, whatever melange vibe you wanna call it, boredom. Um, yeah, so I just kind of like did that for a bit and was just like suffering. Yeah, that was kind of a weird sesh. um, but yeah, it was cool to. It felt like it was a different type of thing to um, what I've been doing. So it was kind of cool. And then during the day, just kind of as I went about my day, I was doing more of the like disidentifying from physical body and body sensations. Um, and had this and did a couple like mini sits doing that during the day, and had this little I don't know if probably insight's a strong word, but a way of like, oh, this is a way I could look at it of like, wow, I'm with all these body sensations, like especially emotional body sensations. If it's there, I'm like, oh, I'm really tense and anxious now, or like, oh, I need to, let go of this tension or do this or whatever. But if I'm looking at it as like not self, it just becomes kind of hilarious because it's like this stuff is just happening, which is not me and which I don't have full control over. And yet I'm being like, oh, why am I like this? Or like, oh, I've got to change to this. And it made me think of an analogy in I think a blog post by Romeo Stevens where he says it's like someone in a car, um, where the steering wheel doesn't actually control the car. Maybe like a kid's thing or something. Like it's just driving and there's just like a kind of dummy steering wheel and the person like turning the steering wheel all the time and being like, fuck, I've got to steer this car like this. And it's like, not, it's like, bro, you're not, that's not, that's not steering the car, like you're not steering the car, but like wanting to feel like you are and being like, oh, why is that feeling happening now or something? Why am I doing that? Um, yeah, that was a kind of fun perspective to get. Alright, now I'm off to do today's sit.